Hello, everyone. I'm Chris Bayonet. I'm a health systems management major with a minor in psychology. I'm currently a senior here at University of Maryland's Global Campus, and this is my summer 2022 student introduction. And the background image you see is actually one of my pieces of photography. It is from the top of Afton Mountain in Shenandoah Valley, Virginia. So each term I try to do a video introduction just because I find them a little bit more fun. And the questions this time are from my Theories of Personality class that I'm taking this summer. And the first one is pizza toppings in order. And you're going to see them displayed in reverse order from lowest on the list to highest on the list. That's bacon, onion, pineapple, chicken, sausage, olives, bell peppers, mushrooms, basil, and mozzarella. And I know pineapple's a little controversial, but it makes for a great sweet and salty dynamic. And there are three things that were listed that belong nowhere near a pizza. Those would be the ranch dressing, jalapeno, and corn. Next up were pets. I have two dogs and two cats, and both dogs are do dog agility competitions thanks to my daughter. She loves that. She loves doing that. So we'll start with them first. The first one is Charlie. He's the puppy. He's only just over a year old, and he's a Cocker Spaniel. He was rehomed from another family who just couldn't keep him anymore. Next up would be Nikki, our Havanese, and she was actually my mom's dog until my mom passed away from acute myeloid leukemia. When we took her in, my daughter needed to find something to do with her to keep her sanity. That's how we got started with dog agility. Next up are our two cats. Leia came from a rescue shelter, and then Twilight was the neighborhood stray that needed to be taken in because there were some people not being so nice in the neighborhood to the strays. Now, favorite books. I love reading. I love the Anna Harrington series by David Weber, and if you know anything about that series, there's a huge fan club, and David is highly active, as well as his wife in that fan club. But unfortunately, as much as I hate to say it, it's not my favorite books. My favorites would happen to be The Dresden Files by Jim Butcher, and the entire series. He does comics and has traditional paperbacks, and the audiobooks are narrated by James Marsters. And two ways to describe the main character of Harry. It's either, as the image says, is Gandalf on crack with an IV of Red Bull, or as I usually put it, it's Harry Potter for grown-ups. Next up would be, is it soda, pop, or Coke? Well, it depends. For a generic, it would just be soda. For Coca-Cola specifically, that would be Coke. Pop is the sound it makes when you open the can or the glass bottle. So it is never pop. Unless you're Polish Shore, then pop goes the weasel. And if you remember who Polish Shore is, you will find that funny. If not, it probably just went over your head. So Marvel Comics versus DC, and this is almost as charged as a discussion as Pineapple Pizza, or if it's Star Trek or Star Wars. And if you ask George Takei, it could be both because he's been on both. So once again, it's going to depend. For the movies, definitely Marvel Cinematic Universe has it nailed. They've been doing great with picking the right actors for the right roles and representing it correctly. And doing a wonderful job with it, whereas DC has just been falling flat on their face because they're trying so hard to separate the movies from the TV series. It's kind of laughable, and in doing that, DC just is failing miserably. The best example is they wanted Reynolds for Hal Jordan for Green Lantern, and Reynolds is not a Hal Jordan personality. He's more of a Guy Gardner personality, and if they would have cast him as Guy, it would have been a lot better movie. Now, the television series, live action and animated, really, DC is nailing it out of the park. They're picking the right actors for the roles, and they're not trying to compress it. Marvel's biggest issue with their television series is they're trying to do a season-long show within 6 episodes because they're blowing their budgets very quickly, and a TV series needs the storyline drawn out so much better. I mean, you wanted another half season of Cap and Falcon, Winter Soldier and Falcon. You wanted another half season of Moon Knight because there was so much more that they could have told to build up these characters and their relationships, but it was sort of rushed and doesn't do anybody justice. Now, the comic books, well, until they canceled Green Lantern, DC and Marvel were tied. And I picked Green Lantern as the focal point because it had so many different series throughout DC's comics that when they canceled it and revised it as a kid's story, they really gutted it, and it was endemic to the rest of their lines. So after the cancellation, Marvel has the better stories. They're more adult, they're more dealing with what's going on in the world around us, and they're really nailing it out of the park. So, plus they have a better app for digital reading, both online and offline, and I am a huge subscriber of digital comics these days because, if you ask my wife, I have way too many paper comics that are just hard to access and hard to settle in to read, plus the digital I can read in the dark when I'm getting ready to go to sleep, so it makes a wonderful thing. And I'm trying to keep this really short and sweet, so thank you all. Let's have a great semester. Look forward to doing more of these. Bye.